You're standing in the middle of a noisy, dusty marketplace in the ancient Near East. The sun is blinding. The air smells heavily of roasted spices, animal dust, and human sweat. Look at the wooden table in front of you. A merchant is sitting there with a set of iron scales. He is meticulously weighing out pieces of chopped silver rings, silver fragments. He adjusts the stone weights with his thick fingers. He is watching the balance shift, calculating exactly what a human life is worth. This is not a story about ancient economies. This is not a story about physical coins. This is not a story about greedy merchants trying to make a profit. This is a story about the staggering, incomprehensible price tag that the God of the universe placed on your life, and the brutal, heartbreaking transactions humanity made along the way. Hold that thought, because right now, somewhere in a wealthy port city, a professional merchant is looking at a single, flawless pearl. He is a master of the market, a trader who operates with absolute mastery and discipline. He knows exactly how to read the trends, how to generate massive income, and when to execute a trade. He knows exactly what things are worth, and he is about to liquidate his entire portfolio, every single asset he has ever acquired in his entire life, to buy this one single item. We will find out exactly who that merchant is, but not yet. To understand the final transaction, to understand why the ultimate price was paid, you have to look at the first terrible trades. You have to look at how poorly human beings price the things that matter most. Imagine you are looking at a hunter named Esau. He has just come in from the wild wilderness. He is entirely exhausted. His muscles are burning. His hands are empty. He smells a thick, rich red stew cooking over a fire. His younger brother Jacob is calmly stirring the pot. Esau wants the stew. He is desperate for it, and Jacob makes an offer. Jacob tells Esau to sell him his birthright. In the ancient world, the birthright is everything. It is not just a title, it is the double portion of the family wealth. It is the spiritual leadership of the next generation. It is the very covenant promise of God passing down through the bloodline. It is a long-term asset of unimaginable compounding value. And Esau looks at the bowl of soup. He looks at his temporary, screaming physical hunger, and he makes the trade. He swears an oath. He hands over his eternal inheritance for a single meal that will leave him hungry again the very next morning. It is the ultimate panic sell. Here is what most people miss. The text in Genesis says Esau despised his birthright. He did not just make a bad deal in a moment of weakness. He fundamentally mispriced what he had. He looked at something given by God, something eternal and weighty, and decided it was worth less than a bowl of lentils. He traded a permanent reality for a temporary relief. You can feel the tragedy of it, the agonizing regret that hits him later when he realizes what he has lost. But the transactions in Scripture get darker. The prices get much more specific. Generations later, you are standing at the edge of a dry, cracked pit in the desert. A young man named Joseph is trapped at the bottom. He is terrified. He is looking up at the faces of his older brothers. They hate him. They are jealous of him. They see a caravan of Ishmaelite traders moving slowly across the sand, carrying spices and resins down to Egypt. They pull Joseph out of the pit. They do not kill him. They sell him. The price is exactly 20 pieces of silver. Why 20? Why not 50? Why not 10? If you look at the Code of Hammurabi, an ancient Babylonian legal text from that exact historical era, you will find a chilling detail. 20 shekels of silver was the legally fixed market price for a male slave under the age of 18. His brothers did not negotiate. They did not just get rid of him. They priced him at the absolute bottom of the human market. They looked at their own flesh and blood, a boy who shared their father, and accepted the minimum statutory rate for a discarded human being. They walked away with silver in their pockets and left their brother in chains. You are starting to see a pattern here. The pages of Scripture are filled with human beings constantly underpricing the sacred and overpricing the temporary. We sell our peace for a moment of revenge. We trade our integrity for a slight advantage. We are terrible at reading the true market value of our own souls. But not every transaction in the Bible is a betrayal. Sometimes a high price is paid to show the incredible value of what is being purchased. Now watch what happens next. Go back in time just a little bit before Joseph was sold. You are standing with Joseph's great-grandfather, Abraham. Abraham is in mourning. His beloved wife Sarah has just died. They are foreigners in the land of Canaan. Abraham does not own a single inch of real estate, and he needs a place to bury his wife. He goes to the local Hittite leaders and asks to buy a cave called Machpelah. The owner of the cave, a man named Ephron, tries to play a cultural game. He says, "I will give it to you. I will give you the field and the cave. Take it for free." It sounds generous, but in ancient Middle Eastern culture, this was a negotiation tactic. If Abraham takes it for free, it is not a permanent transfer of ownership. It remains a favor. Ephron could take it back later. Abraham refuses. He bows down and insists on paying the full price. Ephron finally names his price, 400 shekels of silver.
That is an astronomical amount of money.
It is an inflated, massive price for a simple field and a cave. But Abraham does not argue. The text says Abraham listened to Ephron, and he weighed out the silver for him. 400 shekels of silver, according to the weights current among the merchants. Abraham pays the exorbitant price because he is securing a permanent resting place. He is making a transaction of honor. He is saying, "My wife's dignity is worth whatever you ask." Compare that to Joseph's brothers. Abraham pays 400 pieces of silver to honor the dead. The brothers take 20 pieces of silver to destroy the living. And this is where it gets remarkable. Because hundreds of years later, Jesus of Nazareth is going to step into the marketplace, and he is going to completely rewrite the rules of valuation. Imagine you are sitting with Jesus in the temple courtyard in Jerusalem. It is a crowded, noisy day. You are sitting right opposite the treasury, where people come to drop their offerings into large, trumpet-shaped metal receptacles. You watch the wealthy merchants come in. They are wearing fine robes. They have heavy bags of coins. When they pour their money into the metal trumpets, it makes a loud, crashing sound. Everyone turns to look. Everyone calculates the massive sum being deposited. By human market standards, they are the top investors. They are bringing massive value to the temple. Then, a poor widow walks up. She has nothing. She drops in 2 tiny copper coins. In Greek, they are called leptons. It is the absolute smallest denomination of currency in circulation. It is worth a fraction of a penny. The sound it makes is barely a whisper against the metal. No one notices. No one cares. Except Jesus. He calls his disciples over. He tells them to look closely. He says, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others. They all gave out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in everything, all she had to live on." Jesus is recalculating the market cap in real time. He is saying that value is not measured by the volume of the transaction. Value is measured by what it costs you. The rich men gave from their surplus. It cost them nothing to give a lot. But the widow gave her entire livelihood. Her 2 pennies required a total liquidation of her assets. In the economy of heaven, she just outbid everyone in the room. Stay with me, because the stakes are about to reach their absolute peak. We have seen the price of a birthright. We have seen the price of a slave. We have seen the price of a burial cave. We have seen the true value of 2 copper pennies. Now we arrive at the most famous, the most devastating transaction in human history. It is a dark night in Jerusalem. The ultimate trade is taking place. A man named Judas Iscariot, one of Jesus's closest friends, walks into a room full of religious elites. He asks them a simple, terrifying question. "What are you willing to give me if I deliver him over to you?" They count out 30 pieces of silver. That number is not random. It is not an accident. It is not just the spare change they had lying around in the treasury. Hundreds of years earlier, the prophet Zechariah wrote a strange vision where he acted as a shepherd for a doomed flock. When he asked for his wages, they paid him exactly 30 pieces of silver. The Lord told Zechariah to throw it to the potter. God called it the lordly price at which I was priced by them. It was heavy, bitter sarcasm. Because if you look in the ancient law of Moses, in the book of Exodus, 30 pieces of silver was the exact compensation you paid to a master if your ox accidentally gored his slave to death. It is the replacement cost of a dead servant. Judas and the chief priests are telling the creator of the universe exactly what they think his life is worth. A dead slave, the lowest possible appraisal for the most valuable being in existence. They weigh out the 30 pieces of silver, just like the merchant at the market, completely blind to the reality of what they are buying and selling. But it gets stranger because God does not walk away from the table. He accepts the trade. He lets Judas take the silver. He lets the guards bind his hands. He lets them take him to the cross. God enters the marketplace, but he does not bring silver. He does not bring gold. The Apostle Peter writes to the early church and tells them a truth that shook the Roman world. He says, "You were not redeemed with perishable things like silver or gold from your empty way of life, but with precious blood, as of a lamb unblemished and spotless, the blood of Christ." The Greek word used for redeem is agorazo. It is a powerful, highly specific financial term. It literally means to go down into the agora, the public marketplace. It means to walk up to the auction block in the slave market, to pay the full purchase price for a human being standing there in chains, and to walk them out into the sunlight as a free person. Think about a professional trader on a high-volume exchange, someone who reads the order books with absolute mastery and discipline. They know how to generate massive income because they never overpay for a toxic asset. They never buy a company that is completely bankrupt and failing. Humanity was entirely bankrupt. We had sold our birthright for a bowl of soup. We had sold our brothers for 20 pieces of silver. We were trapped in the slave market of our own making, bound by our own panic selling and terrible trades. Every metric, every indicator said we were a terrible investment. But God looked at the market and he stepped onto the trading floor. He did not negotiate the price down. He paid the highest possible price for the lowest performing asset. Remember that professional merchant from the beginning? The one who found a single, flawless pearl? Jesus told a very short parable about him in the Gospel of Matthew. The kingdom of heaven is like a merchant in search of fine pearls, who on finding one pearl...
So what does this mean for you right now?
First, the price of a thing determines its value. If you want to know what a house is worth, you do not ask the house. You look at what the highest bidder just paid for it. If you want to know what your life is worth, look at the cross. You were purchased at the highest price in the history of the universe. You are infinitely valuable because of what was spent on you. Second, the transaction is completely finished. When Jesus hung on the cross and took his final breath, he cried out, "It is finished." In the original Greek, that word is Tetelestai. It is a financial term that merchants wrote across a bill of sale. It means paid in full. The transaction has cleared. There is no outstanding debt hanging over your head. You do not have to pay God back. You cannot pay him back. You just have to walk out of the slave market and live free. Third, and most importantly, stop putting yourself on the clearance rack. Stop letting other people treat you like you are worth 20 pieces of silver. Stop letting the world price you at the bottom of the market. The next time you feel worthless, the next time you feel like a damaged, toxic asset that nobody would ever want, remember the master merchant who sold everything for one pearl. You are entirely known, you are entirely loved, and you have been bought and paid for. Which transaction in this video hit you the hardest? The birthright, the 30 pieces of silver, or the merchant and the pearl? Tell me below in the comments.